Nigeria's oil and gas industry stands at crossroads between the urgent need for research, human capital development, and fixing the refineries that drain billions of naira monthly. Good evening and welcome to TUC Half Hour, the program that brings workers' voices to the national conversation, proudly powered by the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, under the dynamic leadership of Comrade Engineer Festus Sifo. I am your host, Judith Trust, and it is a pleasure to have you join us on the program today. On today's edition, we take you to Kaduna and Abuja, where PENGASSAN executives engaged the Petroleum Technology Development Fund and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. At the heart of both meetings was one message: research, skills development, and infrastructure reform are critical for building resilience in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Let's take a look at the report.
The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) has issued a stern warning to the Dangote Group over what it described as persistent anti-labor practices, intimidation, and humiliation of workers. In a statement signed by its President General Comrade Festus Sifo and Secretary General Comrade N.A. Toro, the TUC said it has received disturbing complaints from PENGASSAN, NUPENG, KAMSAN, and TIGISAN, alleging denial of workers' right to unionize, harassment, and assaults on their dignity. The Congress declared that it will not fold its arms while Nigerian workers are treated as slaves in their own country, stressing that no employer, no matter how powerful, will be able to trample on workers' rights. It demands immediate recognition of unions across Dangote companies and an end to harassment, warning that failure to comply will attract nationwide solidarity action from all TUC affiliates in collaboration with the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC). The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has issued a stern warning to the federal government to withdraw its proposed 5% tax on the petroleum products within 14 days or face a nationwide strike. The Congress described the plan as economic wickedness, insisting that Nigerians are already reeling from the impact of subsidy removal, skyrocketing fuel prices, food inflation, and the free fall of the naira. The TUC said workers and citizens cannot continue to serve as sacrificial lambs for the government's failed economic experiment. It has directed its state councils and affiliates to prepare for full mobilization while calling on civil society groups, students, market associations, and faith leaders to stand in solidarity. The union wants that the strike action is firmly on the table if the government goes ahead with the tax.
The leadership of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSAN, continues its engagement with government and industry stakeholders on the future of the oil and gas sector. In Kaduna, PENGASSAN executives met with the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, at the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies, calling for increased investment in research and skills development to address crude oil theft, environmental degradation, and workforce capacity.
We have been sponsoring students abroad, but at a huge cost, a huge foreign exchange expending. So, in order to now redirect traffic, we decided to come up with this college, so you can now train more numbers of Nigerians, build local content, but without losing the value.
Yeah.
So that is why this place was set up. Additionally, let me also say that we have another center that we call the Center for Skills Development and Training in Port Harcourt. That center is also on a lower scale in terms of size, but it's almost also completed. At some point, we'll also invite you to come and visit the place.
Wow.
It's meant to train media development. The PTDF also is partnering with NNPC through the NNPCL Planning Academy to deliver continued professional development programs, career progression training, talent management, and technical and vocational training programs. That's why during the introduction by the MC, she made mention of the presence of an NNPC team here. We are working together to see that the ICC is completed, so that all the training programs, short career progression programs, rather than going abroad, will be taken here. I'm pleased to inform you that the CPSK will admit its first cohort of PhD students in this September 2025. We have just concluded the screening of applications, and successful candidates will soon be admitted into the following faculties: Faculty of Computing and Telecommunication Technology, Faculty of Earth and Applied Sciences, Faculty of Law, Energy Law and Management Sciences. It's our hope that we start with PhD. We midwife the PhD. After a year or two, we now cascade it down to master's programs, so that at least we can reduce sending Nigerians abroad, because you can get the value, whatever you're looking for, you can get it here.
For us, this is one institution that has truly lived to its mandate. This is one institution in Nigeria that has led exemplarily. They've demonstrated the fact that when we put our mind and heart to anything we want to do in this country, we can truly succeed. And we can truly deliver service to the Nigerian people. And this is one of such examples that we are witnessing here today. I learned that this building was started in 2013, and this is one of the things, for us in the oil and gas, is also the fact that we are demonstrating that we don't abandon projects, that when we commit our heart to do something, irrespective of changes in leadership, we will deliver. And I thank you, the Executive Secretary, for ensuring that this project is completed during your time. Because you could have, there are a lot of other things to do with the scarcity of funds. There are a lot of other projects you could have decided to follow through. But you saw to the completion of this project today that by September, we are admitting the first PhD set. And also, this is a practical demonstration of local content. It can't be even better than this. Because when we preach local content, when we say local content, this is local content in action. Because just as the ES rightly said, we could have, let's assume you have let's say 20 million naira to send 2 people abroad. But with that same money, you could send maybe 10 people to this college, and they will have the same quality of education they could have gotten abroad as well. So what that means is that we are spreading hands to more Nigerians. As we've trained 15,000 people over the last years, we strongly believe that with this institution that is ready to kick into action, we believe strongly that more Nigerians will be trained. We believe strongly to the fact that we can't equate anything to capacity building. We can't equate anything to human capital. The development of any nation is as strong and as solid as the human capital such country has. So for us, we are totally excited to be part of this. We are totally excited to be here today because we strongly believe that Nigeria as a country, the oil and gas industry as a country will be much more better for it. We've seen a lot of projects. that PTDF has done in a lot of universities, in a lot of tertiary institutions. But coming to say, let us develop something that is of world class, that we could send Nigerians to, I think is something that we need to commend. And yes, I will tell you that a lot of this is built for Nigerians today, but I could tell you that people will be coming all over the world. People will start coming from West Africa, from Africa, and the entire world to be part of this success story. In this direction, comrade.
Yeah. That's why if anything, I like to carry my.
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Morning.
At another strategic meeting in Abuja, PENGASSAN leadership engaged the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, on the state of the nation's refinery.
She's sitting there.
The Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Bashir Ojulari, disclosed that the management is facing resistance in its efforts to rehabilitate the facilities, even as Nigeria loses between $300 and $500 million monthly due to the current state of the refineries.
Our challenge there is about sustainability, right? And please, teams, if there are ideas that you get from the ground floor on how we can sustain. Every time I wake up, even though I see the 100% availability, my mind is still shaking. I won't lie to you. I'm still not very comfortable, because achieving success is probably easier than sustaining success. So every time I'm wondering what could go wrong, what else could go wrong, and all of that. So please, let's stay vigilant. If there are ways we can continue to drive sustainability, we all have to work on it together. So I really thank you for your support. You did mention the refineries, and I think it's very important to discuss this. You probably saw one or two of my interviews. And WP, I think you have been, you have your intelligence, because the solution you are proposing is the solution we are working. Wow. So I don't know. So, but I'll give you a bit of a background. It's very, very important that this background be put, particularly because I'm not just speaking to the general public. I'm speaking to professionals and colleagues that we are joined together in unleashing this industry. A lot of money has been spent on these refineries. However, it's been very challenging to translate those money into operability. Part of the reason is when you have an old car and you park the car for some time without any greasing and oiling. Those of you, me, I started with a 504, 11 years old. I can tell you what I went through. You know, those of you who know, I still have the picture. It has a golden stop by the side like this. By the time I bought it, it was 11 years old. But it was parked for about, maybe before it was sold to me, for about 9 months. But I didn't know when I bought it, because when I bought it, they had already upgraded it. So I got it from Lagos. After I just entered and I was hiding to worry. Halfway, the engine was doing ka-ka-ka-ka. You know what that means. And it was meant to be a new engine. But the problem is when you have an old equipment, mechanical equipment, a lot of you are mechanical engineers or metallurgical engineers, right? You've parked that equipment for a long time without any proper maintenance. God help you. You will continue to spend money for the rest of the life of that equipment suboptimally. Why? Because you may fix one part, the next day another part, the next day another part, the next day another part. To keep it simple, the refinery has been difficult to put back because of years of neglect. And it's been difficult when you fix one thing, the other thing is still there. So it's been very, very difficult to get it. When I resumed, one of the first priority I focused on was the refinery, to quickly have a quick review, to see whether we could quickly fix it. what I found is that we were losing between 300 to 500 million on a monthly basis in the overall refinery. But particularly, and I mean losing. And I'll explain till the loss to you so that you understand. Let's take Port Harcourt. We're pumping about 950,000 barrels as cargo to go into the refinery, right? You know that has a price. Okay.
$70 million.
When you then, thank you, 70 million. When you then look at the balance in and out, right? The mass balance.
Yeah.
What was coming out was less than 40% equivalent of what was coming in. So I don't want to go into the details of that. Then you also found out that we were producing mid-grade product because only half of the refinery was working. The way the refinery is designed, the two parts is one. You hear old refinery, new refinery. That's the wrong information. The way the refinery was designed when the old refinery came forward is that the new refinery was meant to feed into the old refinery was meant to feed into new for the end product to be of the right standard to the market, right? So the attempt to on the old refinery was not optimum, and that's why we could not produce properly the PMS, but also the mid-grade products we are producing was at a loss, significant loss to all of us. We're all Nigerians. It's not about me or NNPC, right? And that was the problem. So the first thing we then said, rather than continue to lose, let's quickly stop and look for a way to put this refinery into a sustainably profitable venture, but also a main source of sustainable employment, right? Rather than just continuing under any, and the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Tinubu, did not put pressure on me, I have to say it to everybody, to just go and do the wrong thing. The mandate that was given is look at the baseline and ensure that whatever we're doing going forward sustainably works. There's no need for us to pretend. So there was no negative political pressure for NNPC to just continue to run at a loss. So we decided to freeze on it, and we've been working assiduously to quickly find a way. We've now completed technical review of the 3 refineries, but it's not just about technical. It's also about commercial viability. It has to make money. Maybe not a lot, but it should not be making a loss. Right? We've now completed the commercial review for the Port Harcourt refinery. And from that commercial review, we have come to that conclusion that the best way forward is for us to get a true professional refining company to join us and cooperate with us.
PENGASSAN, on its part, reiterated that the NLNG model, where private ownership drives efficiency, remains the sustainable solution for refinery operations in Nigeria.
Since you came on board, there have been, our pipelines. They have actually been working from the Focados pipeline to the TMP, and all our pipelines today, they've actually been working, and that has actually led to a higher production that we observe today in the industry. We wish to thank you and members of your team, because there was a time, GCO, PENGASSAN, we were in the street of Abuja, we were in the street of Port Harcourt, we were in the street of Kaduna, we were in the street of Warri and Lagos to do a rally. We brought out all our members. I think this was in 2023, if I can remember very well. We brought out all our members in the street to demonstrate why government and why NNPC Limited must solve the issues relating to pipeline vandalization and crude oil theft. Because for us, the job of our members were being threatened. Because if this happened and you produce crude from all swamps and land areas, and this crude at the end of the day, they go into the hands, they are either vandalized or they are stolen. The jobs of our members, were at risk. So because we know very well that for us to be able to ask management that they should do the needful, the company must be profitable. And for them to be profitable, when they produce crude, they must be able to sell. So that was why we hit the street. We demonstrated. In fact, we went to the IGP's office. We had a meeting with the IGP. We had meetings with the various security chiefs on these issues bordering on crude oil theft. So we are quite happy that today the production is quite up. Almost all the pipeline as we speak today are not compromised. This did not come as a result of sheer luck. I think it's because of the hard work that was put into it for us to achieve, what we've achieved today. And we quite appreciate that. And also, GCO, we've seen today that the refineries today, the one that was seemingly working before now is shut down. We don't really know what the reasons are. Press, all the pressmen, they be bombarding us, trying to find out, trying to know what is the state of our refineries. GCO, we have asked over time that our current refineries, that with the way it is it not actually possible for us to bring to bear the same model that we have today in NLNG? That is because today we all know very well that NLNG is one experiment that has worked. That year in, year out, they turn in dividends to government. All the shareholders in NLNG, they smile to the bank. And also, we are also meeting to a very large extent the welfare packages for our members. So we are happy, government is happy, the shareholders are also happy. So what we've asked over time is that is it not possible in the refineries for us to bring a refiner who is well experienced to buy into the shares of the refineries, then our government through NNPCL will reduce their stake in the refineries so that it will reduce a lot of political interference, so that at the end of the day, the continuous operation of the refinery will be a going concern. So that is why over time, PENGASSAN has consistently asked that we bring to bear the NLNG model in our refinery operations. GCO, we strongly believe in you and your team. We know very well that managing institutions like this and trying to bring about change, we know that they are always up and down, which is expected in life. But as PENGASSAN, we assure you that we are solidly behind you, that we will work with you, we will collaborate with you and your team to ensure the stability of the system. Because for us, when the system is not stabilized, it has a way of trickling down to our members.
Both meetings highlight a shared message that research, human capacity development, and infrastructure reform are critical for Nigeria to achieve resilience in the oil and gas sector. The view here is that an equipped human resource is central to the success of any sector, and the PENGASSAN leadership is hoping that the nation's College of Petroleum and Energy Studies, under the management of PTDF, will fill that vital need. Notwithstanding, the management of the union vows not to back down on efforts to fix the nation's refineries, as members of PENGASSAN promise their full support to the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Welcome back. It is evident that PENGASSAN is not just raising concerns, but also putting forward concrete solutions. In Kaduna, the union called for deeper investment in research and training, noting that without skilled human resources, the sector cannot make advancement. And in Abuja, they pressed for the adoption of the NLNG model, insisting that private-driven efficiency is the only way to sustainably run Nigeria's refineries. At both meetings, the message was the same. Resilience in oil and gas requires skilled people, stable policies, and infrastructure that works. As we wrap up today's episode, the key takeaway is that research, capacity building, and functional refineries are no longer optional. They are non-negotiable if Nigeria's oil and gas sector is to remain the backbone of our economy. PENGASSAN says it will continue to champion workers' welfare while also pushing for reforms that deliver results for the nation. That's it for today's edition of TUC Half Hour. If you want to watch replays or join the conversation, follow TUC Half Hour on all social media platforms displayed on your screen. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Judith Trust. God bless Nigerian workers.